Hey everybody, Paul and Anna from the Vitamin House in Manalapan, New Jersey again.
Hello everyone.
How's it going? Thanks again for tuning in, and also for first and foremost, I want to say thank you for watching our videos, liking our Facebook page, following us on here and Instagram, and all the feedback on the videos that people sent us through private messages, and also coming into the store. We really appreciate it. Again, doing these videos are new for us, and it's we don't script these things or anything. We just get the ideas from you and talk about it, kind of like a free form kind of thing. And whatever you guys want to talk about, just let us know, and we'll try and do some short videos on it tonight. I want to talk to you about calcium supplements. It was an idea from a customer this afternoon. Came in and wanted to know about all the different types of calcium supplements on the market, because there's so many and the information is so confusing. Some doctors say to take calcium, some doctors say not to. A lot of doctors will tell you, take Tums for calcium supplements. I'll get to that in a minute, why you don't want to do that. But there's a whole host of different ones in the market. Something that comes up a lot is sometimes people will come in and say they expect all the calcium to be in a multivitamin. You can only put so much in one pill when it comes to a multivitamin. There are certain multivitamins on the market that are, you take anywhere between 4 and 6 a day, and they'll have higher doses of things. But for the most part, these one-a-day type multivitamins are not going to have anywhere near the amount of calcium you're supposed to get on a daily basis. Also, a lot of the, not this one in particular, because this is a good one, but a lot of the multivitamins on the market don't have good sources of calcium. And that's what we want to talk about tonight, is getting things for bone density, good sources of calcium and good sources of minerals for bone density, not just calcium, but other ones too, which we'll talk about in a minute. One of the better ones, and if you do want to take one in a multi, this Country Life Core 1 vitamin is pretty good. It's got 200 milligrams of a plant source calcium in it, an easy absorbs form of calcium in it. But still, even though it's much higher than a lot of them have, it's only 200 milligrams. So you're going to need to supplement calcium and other minerals and vitamins from other sources if bone density is your concern. For instance, dosing. They say the RDA for calcium is 1,000 milligrams. You don't want to take that in one dose. You want to split it up. For instance, watch the serving size on the calcium. Excuse me, calcium supplements. Always pay attention to the serving size. Sometimes they'll say up front like 1,000 milligrams and 500 milligrams. This one also 1,000 milligrams or 500 milligrams. But when you turn it around and look at the serving size, the tablets will give you that in two pills. The capsules will give you that in 4. So you have to really be careful to watch. Pay attention to the serving size, not just what it says on the front, but what it says on the side, because that's ultimately going to tell you how much calcium is in the product. You're not going to get 1,000 milligrams in one pill. If you are, it's not going to be a good source of calcium. The calciums you want to stay away from are things like calcium carbonate and oyster shell calcium. Those are 2 forms of calcium, non-chelated forms of calcium that you want to stay away from. Getting back to the whole antacids thing, sometimes doctors will tell you to use a certain name brand antacid. Name brand antacids, because they contain calcium carbonate, to use those for calcium supplementation. This is usually not a good idea, because those forms of antacids, that form of calcium they use in them, have effects on the body where they negate your acidic and acid environment of the stomach, which will hinder your calcium absorption. It'll make your calcium not absorbed. So it's basically in and of itself redundant to take those types of supplements. They're not going to do you any good. You want to get your calcium from a good source in terms of supplements. You want to make sure it's chelated. Chelated means they'll put certain amino acids in the calcium to make it more absorbable. Again, you want to stay away from oyster shell calcium, Oscal, things like that, calcium carbonate. Those are the ones that you want to stay away from. They also make formulas that are called bone density formulas. Now, bone density formulas will have sources of calcium in there that are more similar to the structure that your bone is made up of. Calcium from what they call MCHA or MCHC, microcrystalline hydroxyapatite forms of calcium. Again, these are going to be forms. You're not going to get it in one pill. The thing with the bone density products is they will use better forms of calcium, but you're going to have to take more pills to get the same dose. So for instance, most of the bone density formulas that are on the market are usually anywhere from 4 to 6 pills a day. The majority of them are 6 a day, but they also contain magnesium, vitamin D, some of them have calcium and phosphorus, and all these things work together to help give you good bone density and help the absorption of the calcium. You want to take a good calcium supplement that has some supporting nutrients in it to help the calcium get absorbed, because minerals are great to take, but they're not easy to absorb and digest and assimilate, so you want to make sure you're getting them all. If you're going to go through all the trouble of getting these vitamins and supplements, you want to get a good one and something that's actually going to do your body some good and actually get something positive from it. These bone density formulas are really good. This is a really good one, a favorite of mine from Country Life. It's called Bone Solid, because Bone Solid is one of the few that actually has phosphorus in it too, and phosphorus, your bones are also made up of phosphorus besides calcium and everything else. This one has calcium, magnesium, phosphorus. It has zinc, copper, manganese. This one also has boron in it. Boron's another great trace mineral. Thing with boron, though, it's hard to absorb, but boron has been shown to increase calcium absorption in postmenopausal women. The problem is the stuff is hard to absorb. Country Life addressed that. They actually use a food source based boron in here called calcium fructoborate that will help the calcium that's in this product absorb into the bone. So if your bone density is low and just taking a calcium supplement isn't doing it, a bone density formula might be for you. Now there's been some negative press about calcium lately. I don't want to get into all that in this video because number one, I don't really agree with it, but that's besides the point. If your doctor has advised you to stay away from calcium, there are other things you can take, other minerals to take to help your bone density. Strontium is one of them. Now, one most important thing with strontium is strontium citrate. Some of the strontiums you have to watch because they have calcium in them. You do not want to take strontium and calcium at the same time, or you don't want to take a strontium formula that has calcium in it or a calcium formula that has strontium in it, because they compete for the same receptor sites, so they can cancel each other out. So you want to get a good strontium. You want to make sure, and there's not too many of them on the market that come by themselves, just strontium. You want to make sure that's the only ingredient in there, and you can take this with or without food, it doesn't matter. But if you do take these at the same time as calcium, you have to make sure, on the same days, you want to make sure you split them up. So if you take your calcium in the morning, you can take your strontium at night, basically. Another good thing is magnesium. Magnesium can help the absorption of calcium. A lot of times people just say, oh, just take calcium citrate. I'm not a big believer in taking calcium by itself. I think you should always take the other minerals or the other cofactor nutrients with it to get it absorbed better. Magnesium is a good one, but again, you want to take a good magnesium. This is magnesium glycinate. Another good one would be magnesium citrate to take it in conjunction with your calcium. Another good thing that's been out lately is good press has good things have been written about it is vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 for bone density is great. But if you're taking, this is something that if you're on medications, you want to check with your doctor to make sure you can take vitamin K. That's really important. Also, there's different forms of calcium. You can get chewable calciums, liquid calciums. Liquid calciums absorb well also. They're easier on the stomach. This one, for instance, is liquid calcium and magnesium citrate with some vitamin D in it. These are really good too, but you still want to make sure, even though you're taking a liquid vitamin, make sure it's good calcium. Not just like, just because it's liquid doesn't mean it's going to absorb better. If it's a cheap source of calcium, it's going to be the same thing as taking a pill. Make sure you're taking a good one like the liquid calcium citrate. Then you can also get chewables. Life Extension makes a good, high quality calcium, magnesium chewable. Then there's vitamin D. Vitamin D is great for bone density. The problem is most of the vitamin D supplements on the market are very low potency. They now have some high potency ones out now. For years, they always told people take only 400 units of vitamin D. I'm not really sure why. Nobody knows where really that came from. But 400 units of vitamin D has nothing to do with calcium absorption. If you want vitamin D to have a positive effect on calcium absorption and bone density, you got to be up in the 5,000, or you should think about taking somewhere in the neighborhood of the 5,000 range. You can take it at once, you can split it up, just like the magnesium and the calcium. If you're going to take those minerals, you can split them up. You don't want to take a high dose at once. You can do the same thing with the vitamin D, or you can take it all at once because it's fat soluble, so it'll stay in your body for a longer period of time. Vitamin D is available in all different types of ways to take it. This is a liquid. You can put drops directly under your tongue or on your food, or you can get it in little tiny soft gels. And anywhere doses, we have anywhere from 400 units up to 10,000 at a time. So the lower your bone density is, the higher you should consider taking in vitamin D. Another thing that comes up all the time are the size of the calcium pills. There's no really getting around that. You're either going to have to take smaller amounts of pills that are larger, or larger amounts of pills that are smaller. There's really no in between unless you go with a liquid, which, the taste can be here or there for people. Some people complain about the taste, they're not that bad. These are things that's not meant to taste like candy. They're made to help you with the bone density, but some of the better calcium pills are larger. That's normal, but some companies do make them in smaller pills, but obviously if there's less, if they're smaller pills, there's going to contain less calcium. You're going to have to take more of them. So that is pretty much it. Another thing that's good to take with calcium, if your nails are brittle and your nails are, just say a sign of not just bone density, but to say if your nails break easy and they're brittle, there are digestive enzymes that you can take with your calcium to help it absorb better. So if you're one of those people that have trouble absorbing things, or if you've have a history of antacids, you might want to consider taking a good digestive enzyme, or what's called betaine HCl with your minerals. This will help it absorb better. And there's also a product from Source Naturals called MBP Bone Renew. This is also another supplement. This would be good for people that don't want to take calcium or have been advised from their doctors not to take calcium. What this product does is this has been clinically proven to help you absorb your calcium from your food. And this is a 1-a-day supplement, and this has been out for a little while. We got pretty good feedback on this. It's been out for a few years, and but again, there's no calcium in here, but it's designed to help you absorb your calcium from your food. So for people that want to stay away from calcium for whatever reason, this might be a good option for you besides one of the other ones like strontium or more vitamin D. You got any questions here tonight? Well, thank you, Mandy. I appreciate that. You're welcome. We enjoy doing them. Thanks for everybody that's shown up to watch them again. That's about it for tonight. We have, again, for the calcium, one more thing with the calcium. They make, I can't remember the brand name, but there's chews. And a lot of people come in here looking for the chews, like the calcium, the chocolate chews. They taste like Tootsie Rolls. We don't usually recommend them. If you're taking those now, again, I don't want to mention the brand name. You want to look at the type of calcium that's in the side of it. It is not a great source of calcium. Yes, they taste good, and I understand they taste like candy, but it is not the greatest source of calcium. So if you're taking chews, things like that, or if you want a chewable, actually, if you need a chewable, Nature's Plus under the Alive label came out with a gummy calcium. For you here. This is a plant-sourced calcium with vitamin D from Nature's Plus called Alive. If you need it, you have to have a chewable or a gummy. This would be a better choice than some of those chocolate chewables that you see in the grocery store, because believe me, that's some of the worst calcium that there is in those supplements. You don't want to take those. Like I said, if you're going to go through all the trouble of taking a calcium supplement, you want to go out and get a good one. Make sure it's absorbable. So if you have any questions on any of these things, you can give us a call. Comment on the video. Our phone number here is 732-414-2777. You can shoot us a DM, a direct message here or over on Instagram. On Instagram, we are the Vitamin House Online. If you would be so kind, we would appreciate you following us on either one of our pages, either Facebook or Vitamin House Online on Instagram. We really appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions, just give us a call, or if you have topics you want to discuss, come on in and tell us about it, or give us a call and tell us about it. We'll be more than happy to put it together and do a quick one for you on it. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Really appreciate all the feedback we've got on the video so far. That's been a real big help for us. because obviously, you know, these are all new for us, and we want to keep them going and keep communication. This is what we do here. We're here to help, and we're here to answer these questions. We're the people you come see, pick our brains, ask the questions. There's no dumb questions. You know, believe me, we understand. We've been doing this a long time. It gets confusing. However we can help you with any of this stuff, we will do our best. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.